So yeah, so I'm Bhishma. I working in Google for like last 4 years, and I'm so just to give a background, like I was part of I mean, okay, first of all, like whenever like if I say a jargon or something, you can just stop me and ask me out. Ask me like what that means or whatever. Because I try to make it very generic, because as jargon free as possible, but I kind of assume certain words. So I've been looking at the AI space for last yeah. So I've been looking at the AI space for the last 4 5 years, and this these ideas kind of culminated over you can say like last 3 years, I would say, and that is what is being reflected. And I put this. I'll go more in detail and say like, what is like the high level overview of the talk. But as you can see, this one's going to be like very basic, like in sense like okay, what's happening right now and where we are headed. So it's more like a summary or like a snapshot of what's happening rather than me claiming okay, this is what is going to happen. Maybe you can have it in a Q&A session later. So yeah, so just to this talk will also be a bit interactive. So you can take your phones and scan this. And so what I just want to know is like when you hear AGI, like what comes to your mind? Is it accessible? If it's not, you can open this website and put this code. Oh, 1 second. Oh, yeah. Can everyone access it? Oh, interesting. Okay. Wow. Interesting. So yeah, we'll just go right. Abstraction. I guess that makes a lot of sense, right? It's too technical and confusing. Everyone has their own views. So yeah, threat, utopia. Oh, see, okay, human. Okay, but what does it? I think yeah, this is very interesting. I would say like we can go deeper into it. A new life form. God, intelligence. What is ACE? Can someone explain what ACE is? Was that a mistake? Okay, fine. Oh, it's like trump card. Okay. Yeah, this is cool. So I get like a sense of a lot of unknowns like Utopia, Thread, Terminator. Yeah, I think this is like the sci-fi aspect of it where we are not sure like how things are gonna pan out. And yeah, so let's. I think yeah, it's kind of what I was expecting. So there's a link to the slide if you want. You can if it's not visible or something, you can note it up. The entire slide. Like, so if it's sometimes you want to go back or if you have some questions, right, you can access it. And yeah. So yeah, just to situate, right. So what I've been noticing for the past few years, months and a year is there's the entire space of AI and AGI. All this, it's too polarizing. Like everyone has like, very strong views. Like some people are like, oh, it's gonna change the world for the good, like it's gonna lead us to, as you said, like utopias. And some people are like, okay, yeah, this is like going to cause so much doom and destruction. And some people, like especially certain academics, feel these are overhyped by technological companies because of their motives just to sell. So we are kind of caught in this total mess. Like, okay, how are you going to navigate? And based on our experience, we have some evidence, right? Like we would have tried ChatGPT. Like everyone probably would have tried ChatGPT, and we feel there's some truth to it, but then we are not sure. We feel we are pawns in a bigger game of like some random mechanisms. So my like I in the last few months, like I've noticed things rapidly expanding in capabilities and more investments. So that was sort of troubling for me. But also I realized there's like a lot of blind spots and biases in trying to understand like this fire hose of information. And this is not just a technological issue; it's also a techno-social because it relates to how people perceive these technologies and uh, change respectively, right? And to do that, I also need like more people looking in these issues and start talking about it, sharing their views, and maybe spotting my blind spots and correcting it. So this talk and other ideas that I've been looking into is my stab on to get started with these conversations. So by the end of talk, like you will get how a small sliver of what the current AI landscape is, and there's something called sense making. So it's like just a fancy word for you have all these information like news and random developments happening, and how do you make sense of it? Like what is right, what is wrong? Like who are the people involved? So it's more like a framework for that rather than saying, okay, this is the right thing and this is the wrong thing. We'll look at certain example how we can think for yourself. And if time permits, I'll talk about like, okay, what I'm doing and what my, so that will be the second stage. Like first we'll just see the snapshot and then I'll tell about like what I took away from it. So yeah, this is what not expect. You will probably have more questions when you leave, and that's good. And there'll be like no code or like equations. Just I'll keep it like as high level as possible. Yeah. So what is intelligence? Right. I think one of the words that people had put is like intelligence. So can I just want to know like when you hear the word intelligence, what comes to your mind? I'll, sorry. Able to solve. Okay. Ability to solve problems. Okay. Yes. Adaptability. Okay. Yeah. And like most of the time, yeah, it feels like intelligence. I think this is a common image or we've seen, right? Like a blind man looking at a elephant. I feel intelligence is sort of like that, where we can't really figure out, like we don't have this full grasp of it, but everyone's trying to access like one part of it and uh, sort of fighting over, hey, this is intelligence, that is not. But then we also have some high level understanding, right? So this image, what I put is, so this is a beaver building a dam, and this is a honeybee constructing these honeycombs. So what differentiates? So this is also intelligent behavior, right? Like they're solving problems. It's not trivial, like to make some this complicated structures. And beaver is also like it's creating. I mean, whatever it could do, it's creating, right? But so what is difference between this and human, right? Like that's some difference.
There's more self-reflection involved in.
Sorry.
No, there's more self-reflection involved in your own thinking involved in the human intelligence. In this case, it feels more automatic.
Oh, okay, automatic, but
Like it's like hardwired.
okay, instinctual. It's more like you're saying it's reflexive. Like they're just made to do this.
Yeah.
I would say they're also intelligence, just the
Yeah.
level of intelligence.
Yeah, right. Like because
the
if
difference
you
in the kind of problems you solve are higher. That's it. Right?
yeah,
Right.
so you mean okay? One second, like okay.
These are the smaller instinctual, like control groups. So, not sure if you know what cognitive architecture is. But cognitive reasoning, that's a different kind of intelligence that
Okay, so you're saying these are simpler problems and what?
No,
Okay, you
They are
didn't
smaller groups, so our body is full of smaller groups as well.
smaller
That's
groups.
intelligence as well.
Okay.
So how we breathe, how we
Each system has its own intelligence.
There are
Local
levels
level.
of intelligence.
Okay.
So humans excel at a larger level.
Larger level. Okay. This.
seawater, not water.
Okay. it's like a touch me not plant. Like you just stimulus response.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. But then it's also general, right? Like if you leave a beaver in, let's say, if I create like an artificial sort of thing, it can probably adapt and make a dam in like in this room or something, right? So, but yeah, I get it. Like it can't generalize, right? And you.
Basically, around those. I was just thinking that maybe it's more like systems one versus systems. So they are.
Okay, what is maybe like what is system one?
Yeah. Just,
That comes.
and also.
Yeah, I know, but others might not. So it's
So what these animals can do, we can probably do at a similar level of capacity as them and then some. So we are more general in terms of what we can do. We could potentially make a honeycomb with our bare hands, although it may not be as precise, geometrically speaking, as what honeybees could do instinctively. But we could also do things that honeybees can't do, and we can adapt to new environments faster and better, probably due to our, the amount of energy that we can expend on cognitive resources versus what is available to beaver or
these. Yeah. I mean that's pretty much getting to the heart of it, right? So,
Sophisticated to use, I guess.
but what is sophisticated, right? Like for instance, like some of these birds and even I think dolphins, like they also have like sophisticated language, or they also have like certain types of tool use, which we can't. For instance, chimpanzees, there are these memory recall tests where I think we can do only like 7. So there are these numbers flashing on screen and we should tap it. Chimpanzees can easily do like 15 or 20. So it's not like we are better overall. It seems like there is some core to it which we are really good, but then there are certain aspects where we are not really that good.
Yeah, so I'm saying we can replace. I'm saying
We
human
can-
intelligence is higher. I'm saying all of this is intelligence, but the level of intelligence changes from
Different.
whatever.
Okay. Yeah, so that's low. So yeah, we, as you said, like humans, we can make a car, we can go to the moon and we can drive the car on the moon. So and we can like catch stuff and we can make rockets and catch rockets. So it's like we can, as you said, we can adapt to so many complicated environments. And also another great thing about humans is we can coordinate in extremely large groups. So this is like a UN meeting and sorry.
That's it's debatable.
Yeah, I mean, for what is it like? Somehow, right? Like we, for all the differences and wars and whatnot, but somehow we are kind of getting things going. So that's, and there's some theories that social intelligence kind of propel human brain growth. So there's some aspect to it. Future generation. Yeah, we can build over generation. Yeah, cultural intelligence. Cultural intelligence. Yeah. Exactly. We just keep doing the same mistakes. And yeah, and that's also about the social aspect, right? Like we are able to transmit socially. So, and now coming to AI, like this is like a more long term. I mean, not really long term. It's just 25 years or 30 years. And as you can see, like a lot of tasks. If you see, like earlier, the progress was a bit slow. So this is, I think, handwriting recognition, and this is a human performance. And it took like a long time for it to reach human level. And recently, these are pretty, as you see, the type of problems are getting harder. Like there's grade school math, code generation, compared to, let's say, handwriting recognition, speech recognition, and harder tasks, and they're also getting much faster. They're reaching human potential, like human baselines, much faster. So this is a trend that we are noticing.
Understand how survival in language understanding.
I mean, it's like maybe those are. I'm not sure like what specific. I think it should be here, like language understanding. Yeah, language. It's a these are benchmarks. So there is a benchmark called glue. I think it's general language understanding or something. So it's not, you don't think of it as like, okay, entire language understanding. These are representative tasks for that. So it's sort of like a proxy. So obviously there might be certain tasks in language understanding where it's still bad, but this is sort of a representative, what do you say, like way things have progressed. Yeah, but language understanding, yeah, it's debatable. Yeah, I totally agree. It's this is not like 100% right. It's more like maybe 70-80% ish. You'd say.
Almost what you're pretending to understand, right? Like, this is all
Maybe yeah,
pretension.
we'll take that. It's a tangent. We'll take it. Yeah.
One more point here.
Yeah.
The problems that we started solving earlier,
Yeah.
they are more subjective problems. Code generation, mathematics is very objective.
But
If
also,
there's
okay.
If you start doing let's say speech recognition, if we had started doing it now, or handwriting recognition now, maybe it would have still not been that stark like a mathematical. Math का calculate करना है.
Okay.
If there are numbers and there are sequences and rules assigned to something, then it's fine. When it comes to handwriting, I can just make a A in a different way, do it in a different way.
So you're saying
all the problems are also in different.
Okay, saying there's inherent difficulty in these problems. That's why it took a long time. If we had,
that's my belief. Maybe if we had started now, it might not take.
So the thing is, all these problems were tackled. I mean, people are not like they didn't wait till here to start doing it. Right? They were at this point also. Yeah, they were also trying pretty much everything at the same time. These are very, very old problems. So it's if it was actually easy, it would have shot up even at that time. So.
So you can just look at it as like long.
Yeah, they were trying. Yeah, it was just 0 all the time, and then it shot. Yeah.
The harder things the later they started because like,
Exactly. Yeah, we had to get really good for that to shoot up. Yeah. Any other? Yeah. So I'm not sure if you've heard Turing tests. Like, short of hands, like has. Okay, you heard. Right? So Turing test is basically. So there's this famous computer scientist called Alan Turing, and this was way back, like 1950s or something, and he just intuitively felt machines will get very powerful, so he created a test called imitation game, where there'll be a human subject, and the human subject has to talk to. This human subject doesn't know who they're talking to. It can be either a machine or a human, and they need to identify whether it's a human or not. So that's the Turing test. And recently, some of the scientists they conducted a study, and they found out that GPT 4.5 was judged as human 73% of the time. So, we are making extremely fun. Even if you go back like 5 years, people thought that Turing tests were like a science fiction, or it was not. No one would have predicted that we would solve it in very quickly. Not solve, but at least kind of to make humans think like 70% of the time it's a bot is a human.
Over the reality.
Yeah. Sorry.
So human is not 56, that means it's actually acing the test better than humans.
Sorry. Oh yeah.
It's actually 90% better than humans.
Which one?
So the
This
second half is significantly more often than interrogators selected with real human participants.
So it's more
Yeah.
difficult than
It's yeah.
Able to deceive humans
More easily.
Convince humans that they're speaking to a human more so than an
Actual human. So yeah, its win rate is much. So this.
I just have one more. So I'm not sure if you read Russell and Norman.
Which one?
Russell and Norman. So
Russell and Norman. Yeah. A modern approach. Right? Yeah.
So when so there when we talk about intelligence, there are two axes. Right? So one is human, the other is rational.
Yeah.
So he does talk about like Turing test and so on is about human part of it, and it like hyper focuses on language. But it really doesn't talk about what intelligence is. So although Turing said that if you pass the Turing test, we've achieved intelligence. So I think it's just one.
Yeah. That's why in the first what is intelligence, I put the elephant thing, right, where we don't really. It's kind of slightly unproductive to say this is intelligence. We only have different parts. of okay, hey, this feels like intelligence, this feels like intelligence, and I think that's how we will progress. Like I don't think we'll nail down, hey, this is intelligence. We're just gonna be a lot of sub problems, and after a point, I think people just stop caring. Like they'll just
I think we're a few steps, but clearly intelligence
huh.
will have a long
Yeah. This all these are just evidences, and I'm not saying okay, yeah, we reached a pinnacle or something. There'll be other examples where it fails terribly. So, and this is I'm not sure if you've seen. So there's this game called Pokemon. There are these arcade games where you play. I think I don't know. Yeah, Game Boy. Yeah. So where you you have to advance levels and catch Pokemons and get these badges. And this is a more open world situation. And there are these live streams where people just connect Claude or Gemini and they make it play Pokemon. And recently, Gemini was able to collect I think 8 badges. It's just I think there are 4 more elite levels or something. So it's not elite. Yeah, so it's doing the elite, but yeah, it's doing more. So these are complex environments, right? Like you have to plan, you have to understand where you are, you have to be able to understand the game setting and everything. So yeah, this is also happening simultaneously, and this is a bit complicated. Maybe I'll go over it later. And other angle is the robotics angle, which is so China has dark factories which are very minimal human involvements. They're just cranking like hardware throughout the day. And this is a startup called Physical Intelligence. And what they did is they trained a robot in their lab and they just left it in a totally unknown environment and asked it to do some tasks like adjust pillow and place plate in sink, and there are a lot of examples. So this is about generality, right? Earlier, I mean, robotics you would have seen they were doing complex things, but they were very narrow. They could only do certain tasks. But now the generality is improving at a very fast pace, where you train it in certain environments and you can deploy it in a different environment, and it can easily pick up. So yeah, I mean, this is another set of graphs. I will not bore you. It's basically IMO is a very complicated math Olympiad, and last time it got silver. This is 2024, and these are coding competitions. And even there, I think it's not visible, but these are very high scores. You can say in the top 5 percentile. I would say. So this is, as you can see, I've shown you all the good things. And now this is sort of okay. So this is portal entrance. I took a photo yesterday, and I asked O3 to geoguess this place. So geoguess is you show a photo and you ask where this photo is. And these are competitions where humans participate. They use a lot of techniques, and yeah, it's a game. Yeah, geoguessing game. And I just did, and it's as you can, it's very dark and whatever. But if you see, it kind of zoomed in on. So there is a number 50 plate. So it's not visible in the photo, but you can check later. And it zoomed in and it said, hey, this 50 is like a dead giveaway. It's a BBMP style number plate. And from that, it kind of guessed you have to be in somewhere this. Right?
I've been coming to this place so many times I never saw the 50 number.
And yeah, and it just, and as you can see, it's also very fun. It's like, I mean, that's the thing. It's okayish. It's sort of trying a bit, as much as it can. So
This is entire world, right? Or is it just India?
no, entire world.
Yeah.
And
But they have a knowledge. It knows that the person is in Bangalore.
no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't get access to a location.
Location it doesn't have.
Yeah. This is a fresh chat.
Okay, what I noticed is that if
Oh,
you
in memory.
then it over-indexes on that and it keeps the results on that.
What
Okay.
step it's following. So
Yeah, but I think yeah, O3.
The lat long and everything.
Sorry.
This is the thinking thing which is a
Yeah, O3. This is O3 model.
this is you can actually see what
Yeah, you
it's
can see.
doing.
I can show you actually this chat. I mean, you can go to the slide and you can open. I shared the chat link. later we can look at it. But yeah, we'll talk about it later. So this is the ugly part where, so this is a very simple task. So you have these names and there are these lines connecting to these stick figures, and the image quality is not good, but each stick figure has different colors. And the task is figure out, okay, what name is connected to what color of stick figure. And I think like any 3 or 4, maybe 5-year-old can do. But as you can see, like these models are still struggling. It's just all over the place. It I think it just guesses. It creates like these patches and sees what's there in a patch. I'll just leave it. So it's we're just not sure like where these models are good, where these are bad, because hmm, all over the place. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have a global understanding. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. So what I'm saying is these are not just like a uh, like like based on what it does extremely well in one area, like it's solving crazy math problems. So we would assume, hey, this is so smart, so it should be able to do this. But because of these certain quirks in how these models are trained, we are just not sure. Like we just have to try a bunch of things and figure out, hey, this works good in this is not good in that.
So I think it's like logical puzzles
Hmm.
that these reasoning models aren't able to get the grasp of.
But then if you see the robots, it's a lot of common sense as well. Like it's I mean there's some logic,
So
but
yeah, exactly. So the common sense that it's able to learn or learn the pattern from its corpus, it's able to do it. But it's not able to do inference. It's not able to do real reasoning. So if you know like logical reasoning, the way that we used to do in computer science,
hmm.
actually these models aren't able to. They're not able to do forward reasoning, backwards reasoning.
But I mean, so I feel okay. Yeah, we can digress. Like I think it's digressing. We can maybe take it later. But yeah, I have certain angles to it. So this is more like what is there, but this is kind of digressing into what my understanding of how it might be better.
Yeah, sure.
So
I'll
yeah,
also
we'll
share a paper
sure. Yeah,
where they compare like,
yeah. I'll just yeah note it down.
because like through reasoning, I mean, it has a lot of drawbacks as well. You have to encode every single symbolic
Hmm.
it's not able to learn that from the environment, but at the same time, LLMs are just like, still in that stochastic pilot.
I mean, I beg to differ, but yeah, it's a separate conversation.
Love to.
Yeah,
No, but this also is probably like an artifact of how
it's been
tokenization
trained. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's again. I mean, just trying to. I don't want to bring complicated jargon. So what I'm trying to portray is like it's extremely. There's just few slides back we said it's doing all this like gold, silver, and 95 percentile, but then it's okay trying to guess some stuff. Then now here it's totally off. Like it just falls flat. So yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Hmm. So I mean, then maybe you should be able to predict, right? Like this is more like post hoc. Like once we see it's bad, so I think using this framework, you should make predictions saying, "Hey, I predict in the next 1 year it will still be bad at so and so." So I think that will be a better way to say rather than kind of retro analyzing. I mean, people have been wrong multiple times. I would say, but yeah, we'll.
Yeah, even
This is from O series, yeah, yeah. But I tried on bunch of models. Everything is like kind of similar.
What
Bad.
I have heard is that OC, what they're doing right now is they use toolkit, right? So
Yeah.
they're taking the image down and cropping it out, and then
Yeah, I think we're sort of digressing. We'll probably have to. We'll take
But
it.
that would explain why.
Huh, makes sense. Yeah, yeah,
Technically, takes the size.
yeah.
What would you choose this image? Did you choose it or a random example of?
This was popular on Twitter for a while. Like, I just yeah. So yeah.
There's one more where you're trying to create an image with a glass of wine as half.
Okay.
Like a half glass of wine. And then it writes several elements, but they were not able to create an image half, like not a half glass, instead of full, the brimming sheet
After I saw that, it's kind of like makes sense. That's why I did it.
Yeah, maybe you can try that. Like after, like I would be curious to try it out. Like how it goes around. Yeah, so they call this like spikiness. Where so this dotted line is so these. So the way to understand this is like think of these are different or the sub components of intelligence, or maybe skills. Skills is better word. So there's common sense, there's nuance, creativity, data analysis, math. This is just one set. I'm not saying this is full, but usually this is the way we kind of test these models, right? And humans are sort of well-rounded. We have some this dotted line kind of thing, but these models are very all over the place. Like certain things are it's extremely good, certain things like it's so bad. Uh, so right now, this is like a good way to think of these models, right? They're just good in certain things, but they're not really great in certain ones. So yeah, I mean, another thing I just want to understand, like, what do you guys think? A is like hyped, underrated, or there's some potential? Like, what do you guys think? So,
I think that is justified.
sorry.
That is justified.
So in that case, then there is some potential, I guess. Okay.
That is below that.
Okay. No, it's very hyped.
Go to that link and
Yeah, you can just put.
see the results.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just kind of thing, like math and stuff is very easy to predict. When you train a model how to be good at math. Like, how we can something really good at common sense. That's why it's subset common sense. Like how to the data we should provide and how the way data will show the like, like these are their common sense. Like, what's the, how do you do that?
So, people have been looking for like long time. One initial idea was just put all the comments in. So there are these projects called I think CYC SICK, and they just basically created like I think millions of these rules. And recently they just went bankrupt. So, but then there was parallel angle, which is like, hey, we already are emitting so much data like through books, through internet, and yeah, obviously a lot of it is bullshit. Like people just say random shit. But then if you scale it and see like a broader picture, certain things are true. Like a lot of so the way these models work, they even though they're trained to predict the words, uh, that's not what they're actually learning. Because to be good at predicting the next word, you need to understand. It's sort of like physics, right? Like, okay, hey, I want to understand how, like, or what. I want to understand, like, if I put a ball or throw, like, how it's going. But I can just see like a lot of examples and see some patterns, or be like Newton, who just like kind of went on some I don't know, like he did some crazy shit and just figure out the formula, right? So now this formula just compresses so much knowledge of the real world. So these models are kind of doing that, where common sense is just compressed from this bunch of examples. They're not still there, but I feel it's just a limitation with data. Like you just feed in like internet scale data, it's like maybe 40% there. But now these models can just bootstrap themselves, where they'll just crawl and they can try out bunch of things, and from that data it can start learning more. So yeah, I mean, you can't. Hmm. Yeah, that's there, but also there is. But then, yeah, but also we have genetics, right?
No, I think there is a different school of thought actually. So one is yes, you know the entire corpus
Yeah.
of human knowledge, and then we see millions of tags.
But what is common
Common
sense?
sense are symbolic.
No, you should say.
So if I tell you that this is a cat, you don't need to see how it's a cat. So the next time you see something that resembles that, you know you've got a radio would not relate to that. No, it doesn't have something like this.
Keep this glass of water at the edge of the table and a lot of people
Did you fill? Did you fill?
very high chance of this one to take and fall. There would be something in this common sense.
Yeah, but you have to see the image. Image has to be seen.
So the data is a bottleneck, right? Like we have so many sensory inputs. Like we can see, we have depth, we have like what is it, like sense, like touch and all that. Even
So I think that's
But
physical body, we live in a physical world, which is why we have.
But then let's say we solve for it. Let's say we control, like we made like a crazy robot which give you all these sensors. Do you still think these limitations still apply? Yeah.
So there is a fundamental problem called data grounding.
Yeah, grounding. Yeah, symbol
So
grounding.
essentially, you might have inference, lots of data.
Is it audible for everyone?
Probability that if this then that. But then how do you ground it into one piece of knowledge? I think it's this study of semantics. One piece of
Can you explain what grounding is so that I kind of know, but for others maybe you can explain.
Yeah, I think this is the example I think of. So essentially, you have an ML model that's with a certain degree of probability or likelihood it's understood something about the world. So say A is true. But then how do you encode A is true for all A or for all cases? Once you do that, that is common sense. And then all the models have to do is, okay, this is a fact, I'm simply going to leave no error. Like we have to use common sense, right? So if I say, oh, it's cloudy, it's going to rain, it's just a fact that I'm going to use it. Maybe I didn't explain it the right way.
But I get it, but then
Okay, that's still, I think,
inference.
Events mix with common sense. There are hierarchies of it. Generally, अगर human level पे बात करें, at human level, if something is not harm me, something is something that should be avoided. Or the next level is what are the things that are harm. And that's another level.
Okay, guys, we'll
consequences can be there. There can be multiple levels.
we'll take it.
It's like 20 minutes.
So I'll
During the lunch, there'll be a lot of
a lot of discussions. We'll take this up. Yeah.
We have 1 hour, right?
No, yeah, but there's a lot of slides.
We are not.
Yeah. So there are these caricatures. Just to be like, so they call it tool pill. Where so some people think AI is not general. Like they can't do everything. Sorry. Yeah, Wojak. Yeah. So they think AI, whatever, it's more like a calculator, or it can just do one thing. So and then they can be agentic. Agentic is like they do something about it, and they can be like sort of doomerish. Yeah, NPC is like they don't have much agency. So this is just like a funny thing I saw. So I just put. So you have these academics who are debating whether AI will like misuse it. People will use it to Oh, you think Pint side is here? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, and then like I think most of our like maybe parents are they just like use it for simple tasks. They feel it will just do small things. And then if you're more agentic, you'll start startups and like make money out of it. So that's one thing. And now if you are AGI pill, yeah, this is like the doomer. And you have this alignment researcher who is more agentic. They're trying to solve alignment. So alignment, it's just a jargon saying, hey, AI can do random stuff. How do we make it do what humans want? And tech acceleration is just like they just wanna. They don't think AJ will cause like bad stuff. They think it's gonna create utopia, so they wanna create it as fast as they can. So yeah, AI girlfriends and yeah, and yeah. Another question, like when you hear about AI, like which future do you lean towards? I think this will be a bit critical because from now onwards, it's more forward looking. Like till now, it was just a snapshot of what was there before, but now I just wanna.
It's almost like you don't even need to capture it automatically.
Okay.
Change the question.
Sure.
It's like,
Yeah, I haven't tried much.
results.
Oh, I've intentionally kept it. Yeah, I don't want to bias. So everyone done? Everyone done? Oh, okay. Wow. Oh. Oh, actually, I'm now confused. Okay. So yeah, I mean, anyone from one camp, can you just give a gist of like what led you like
I would might have a feel for excitement.
excitement?
Like
Okay.
AI is like change the world. It's feel everything. Like even though our work that we do normally is gonna reduce there a lot.
Hmm.
Like your work freedom to do things that like you want to do. But then the money column that is on face. How would you like the money?
Money. How will you make money if AI can do everything?
But then I think at both like AI is used to govern people, but it's like pretty, it's not very biased. Like humans are very biased. I think once AI does governance, it's much more better.
Yeah.
And then even the corruption will get over by
Hmm. But then, I mean, who will control the AI? Like there'll be a transitioning period. So look at China's social credit, right? Like it's sort of quasi full control. Like
and then it's like, I don't know. Like right now, what crowd is like on X, like we should talking Elon Musk.
But hmm.
I think eventually, like AGI won't be able to control it. Like people won't be able to do this because I
Hmm.
reason or
So you're saying the genie will go out of the bottle and it can.
one thing we need to like you don't have control over it and force it to do things.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. We'll have that conversation next. So concern, like, what are you guys concerned about? This.
And what he was saying, 50% of the stuff he said was concerning to me. I know, in my mind, those same things are interpreted as concerning.
Okay. It's the two sides of the coin.
Yeah, my freedom is much lower than my
What is freedom? Maybe you can.
probability of
So
catastrophic.
So there is this term called, I mean, this group of people, they call it doom, where they think something bad is going to happen. And they put a probability on it, which is all just wishy-washy, but it's just their own subculture. Like they ask everyone, what is your pre-doom? Like, just don't feel like intimidated. It's just saying, how strongly do you think something bad is going to happen? So yeah, yes.
No, I was just saying it's just lower than, much
Okay.
lower than P bloom, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, you want to say something? So yeah, yeah, I've heard, but we'll take it later. Yeah. So there's this. I think, as Ismail said, there's this big hopes where AI drives progress. We have gains, and then there's abundance, and we all prosper. This is like a standard template to depict it. So this is the framework that there's a lot of. Yeah. So this is the standard narrative that's being portrayed. Okay, it's all going to be like how science progresses everyone, right? Like right now, you can just go to a pharmacy and get like a vaccine which king can't afford or something. So it's some narrative that it's going to lift all boats. So that's one narrative. The next one is big fear. So this is the control problem where, hey, there's going to be malicious use. Like people use it for surveillance, bioterrorism, and there'll be an arms race between China and US. They'll use it in wars and like automatically kill people, I guess. And then there's organizational risk where all these big labs they don't care about safety. They can just maybe they don't have strong securities. They leak systems to bad actors. Maybe like Al Qaeda gets O3 or some weights. I mean, but still they have a say. Right? Let's say they want to stop. If OpenAI wants to stop O3, they can just stop anytime they want, or they can do anything. Like they have some control. But let's say someone steals those weights, then it's they have full control over it on how to use it. So and then this is a bit more controversial. I think this is like an angle of like axis of more and more like what is it like slightly controversial takes. So rogue AI is like where sort of what he said. AGI will start thinking for its own welfare, and it can start decepting. It can start seeking power. So this is the entire gamut of what people think might go wrong. So I mean, I don't want to go in depth, but to just give a sense of what are all things that people worry about. This is a good snapshot. Any questions? Like if something is not clear, maybe you can take a pause. Okay, this time. Okay. Yeah, this I'll skip. This is an example where what happened was, I think GPT-4, they gave it a task, and it said, so it hired a task rabbit person, and it said, I'm a blind person, so please solve this captcha for me.
What is task rabbit?
So it's like you can hire a person for certain tasks. I mean, it's
By default it was for humans.
it's only for humans.
Like
Mechanical. So you can be like, hey, write me or code me this app, or like some small stuff you can it's like freelancer or something. So, but I mean, it's not like fully autonomous. There are certain caveats, but something like this can happen. So you don't have to worry too much. But things like these can happen where the AI can possibly lie to solve it task.
Wasn't there one other paper where there were guardrails that were imposed on it, and the LLM showed that it complies to those guardrails during training. But
Yeah, deceptively it knows when it is training, because it knows if I lie, they'll cut me off, or like they'll train me off. So it will lie in training, and then once it's in production, it can do whatever it wants. Yeah, and it knows that it's a human, and yeah. So I mean, yeah, I'll skip all this. So there is this Jeffrey Hinton. He's one of the top. Yeah. So just like, so what I'm saying is, this is not a fringe idea now. So this person, he got a Nobel Prize as well, like for physics, for creating progressing neural networks, not creating, sorry. And he was worried. He was at Google and he quit to kind of express his opinions. So these things are getting more mainstream. These worries. So now, sorry. Because I mean, if you're in a corporate environment, you can't say certain things. You can't speak against your employer. So sense making. What is sense making? So this is like sort of a framework that I use. So you see all these random information coming. Like, how do we make sense of it? So let's take an example of like a news feed or Twitter feed or something like that. So one angle to look at is like who's in power. Like, okay, hey, who controls Twitter, or who uses Facebook, or let's say you're reading a newspaper, like who controls, what are their agendas and stuff. And if they say something, okay, what are the second order effects? You look at, okay, a news feed impacts attention spans. It's polarizing. It affects your mental health. And then, so when there is this thing where like a person who's creating news or media, they have a liberty to say what gets said. So they are also deliberately not saying certain things. So you should also kind of look at, hey, by saying this, what are some certain things they omit, and that will also give you some idea about what's happening. So,
Quick question. So you're kind of saying that there is a lot of worries out there, and data is coming in, and this slide is kind
not just worries, even let's say progress. So if let's say Sam Altman comes and says like, hey, we'll solve cancer, or like, or
so this
whatever,
slide is kind of like
anything.
giving us some,
It's about a framework. I mean, it's not exhaustive, but you can use these tools to understand the news or media or any type of items.
new research.
Any research that's coming in, what does it mean? Like, what are the hidden assumptions behind it, rather than just seeing it at face value.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, so this is an example where doomers. So doomers are like people who think it's go bad, and they say like recursive self-improvement, where AI will just build better AI and it'll all recursive self-improvement. It's like AI will build a better AI, and that will cause doom. So who is saying it? Like, let's say someone in Anthropic or some company is saying it. Yeah, Geoffrey Hinton is saying like, why is he saying that? What does he have to gain? Like, is he a credible source? Like, maybe it's being China. So you look at that, and what are the consequences? Okay, when they say RSA, okay, if it improves, it'll be good, right? It's just getting better. So why will it cause bad things? So you see like second order effects, and then what are they not talking about? Okay, like maybe RSI, they assume these models will be really good, but what if they're not that good? So are they assuming too much in this argument? So that's an angle to look at. And academics thinking, saying A is just a tool. So academics, what are their interests? Like maybe they don't want to look kind of overhyped, or kind of maybe it's a taboo in academia that you can't talk about all this science fiction stuff. So that's one thing. And let's say some tech people call it just a tool. Maybe if they claim these models can do a lot, there'll be a lot of regulation, because so they have incentives to kind of downplay, saying, hey, these models, don't worry, they'll just do one thing, right? So that's looking at the downstream consequences. And what are they not talking? It can be something like maybe there are like a lot of examples, right? Like deception and other things which show general capabilities. So they're probably zooming in on like one example of it being a tool and extrapolating from it. So that's an angle. And yeah, I'll skip this. So another angle to look at it is outside view and inside view. So outside view will be like, okay, hey, A is progressing. Maybe we look at other areas, let's say science or industrial revolution, nuclear uh, development, like nuclear armament, and maybe we can see some parallels from that, and we'll apply that. And inside view is more like you ask actual ML researchers, hey, you develop these models. Tell me, can it do this? Can it not do that? What are the reasons you believe it can do something and cannot do that? So the reason I've given to split it into outside and inside view is like both has pros and cons. So outside view can see the bigger picture, where maybe which the inside view people might miss, because I mean I've noticed it myself. Like I've been working these models for last 2-3 years, and I just thought they were so bad. Like because I will see them, they're doing, they'll terribly fail on very simple tasks, right? So I'll extrapolate based on my first hand experience that what they can and cannot do. So when someone says something, you need to understand, okay, do they have an inside view or outside view? And that will help you get a bigger sense. Okay, okay, maybe they just have a narrow understanding of this, but they don't have a understanding of the broader picture. But that doesn't mean outside view is like the best. People have made like crazy predictions looking at analogies, and they fail to materialize. So having a good balance between outside and inside view helps a lot. In
And so, for instance, you have been working with these models
yeah,
at some level.
yeah.
In some sense, you represent the inside view.
I have. I mean, I can. I mean, a person can have both. But if you see an article, maybe they might be biased too much towards inside view. So that will give you an insight on, hey, maybe this to this person, or this the way they've written is portrays a lot of inside view. Maybe they're missing the forest for the trees.
Okay.
So it's good to have a balance of both. Like I won't put me in like just one camp.
Like, I'm in my mind, I was just thinking like if somebody from Anthropic or OpenAI is
But it's
talking
not.
about,
You can't generalize people, right? Like even there, people can just switch. Like it's more about you. I think a right level of looking at it is like, okay, someone just published a blog post, and there are certain claims, and you can only look at it that level, because a person can have outside view, inside view. Like it's constantly keeps shifting. Yeah. So it's not about a person. It's more about an article or post that you read. You try to understand, hey, is it an inside view? Have they written it from an inside view point of view, or is it like a broad perspective? So
it becomes tricky because sometimes you don't know
yeah,
from the article itself who
yeah,
they have consulted before writing.
yeah. It's not a comprehensive thing. It's one way you can help.
Yeah, agenda was right. The previous slide we talked about particular agenda.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why like Jan LeCun, like right now Jan LeCun, he makes a lot of claims which people have shown to be wrong, and still like they've shown it. So these are very concrete predictions where he said it can't do, and people have actually put it in a chat board and they showed, hey, it can do it. So yeah, things like that can happen where we don't know why people say certain things. And yeah, I think we are towards the end. This is.
Volume.
Can you just play that?
I think this was next.
Okay, yeah, it's playing. Okay.
How do we do the volume?
Yeah, we didn't. It's too less. Maybe you can play in your laptop.
Or CC.
Just play in your laptop.
My laptop.
Yeah.
Maybe just download the apps.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, I'll just but I mean, okay, so I'll just explain the setup so that increase the speed, playback speed to make it like 1.5, 1.75, 1.5, 1.5. Yeah.
Maybe it's
Yeah. So 1 second.
Smile.
Can you pause? Can you pause? I'll just explain the setup. So the setup is this is a psychological study where people have like these are normal people. They put them in a. They're given a task to fill some forms, and that's it. Like they just ask them to do that. And what they're gonna do is like they're gonna ring the fire alarm and see how people respond. So that's the setup. So sorry. Yeah.
Move a bit. Little bit ahead. Just jump. Increase the location.
There's a lot of free fire in office.
I mean, maybe they have replicated it, but this
So
one's
there is a sound that is coming.
Yeah, then like
Should I play
just play it in yours.
Yeah. But how do I
Just open the slides.
try it? One second.
So the fire alarm is ring.
When you play this, why is it not playing?
Will-
You have to start the slide.
You want someone to get up and do some, take some action, and everyone starts again.
It's-
Okay, now it's open.
Hold it.
Are you conducting experiment on us right now?
Yeah, actually, I should have. That's a good.
It looks like you're given some task, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you
but-
need to think that that's what they're supposed to do.
But whatever, like maybe what if it's an actual? There's a fire there. Right? Like,
They didn't ask people, what is going outside.
yeah, no one moved. Like they, what's all you? Where did you move?
No, it's
You'll connect?
loading, it's not,
Okay, fine. So yeah, I mean, I think I'll just summarize what happened. So they'll give the fire alarm will happen, and no one will notice it, or I mean, some people will talk about it, but no one will actually do something. Like they'll just keep on filling the form, and that's it. Like they'll just be there, and they'll ask the study conductors. They'll just ask them, why did you not go out or do something about the fire alarm? And the participants will say, hey. We no one said anything, and we thought we have to fill the form, or they just looked at everyone else and they thought no one did anything, so I didn't do anything. And then they conduct a different variation where on different set of people where there's a fire alarm, and after a while there's a person who comes in and says, hey, there's a fire and you have to evacuate, and everyone starts leaving. So
Even in the first scenario, there will be a person who will be exiting, but he won't take the.
yeah, he won't take. That's a small thing where he won't. There'll be a fire exit.
Oh, yeah.
So he'll try to go and I think find someone, but he'll use the path that he came in. He won't use the fire exit to go and check out. So I mean, this was just a thing to say that yeah, things are moving fast. Like and we need to we have to do something about it. Like there's like another set of talks which I didn't have time, which is my thesis of like where things are progressing and what is going to happen. So I
There is
think
this movie that came out a couple of years ago.
don't look up. Yeah.
So that movie had
Yeah.
a similar kind of idea, right?
Yeah, kind of. What? Oh, this is a Q&A I put.
Shall we do this?
Yeah, it's just put your questions. We can rank them and I can take it.
Or you want us to put a question?
Yeah.
Actually, I was curious about like what you say. Like, what is your take on this
Yeah, but
question?
that's the thing. I don't have enough time. Like,
Like if because you have an inside view, right?
Yeah.
On the content.
Yeah, can you try filling?
Yeah, we have 5 minutes to ask question and then we go for that.
Wait, do we have to type over here? But I can't ask you directly.
You can, but it will be easy to prioritize. Like, we'll have a conversation. Like, don't worry. Is it opening?
Yeah, it's what?
It's working. Oh, sorry. Okay. What should we do? How to change our lives? That's. I think I also. Oh, you can also upward. Maybe guys should upward. There is. So I mean, what should we do then? Like, it depends, I guess. Where. So I feel for these are very complex issues that I can't be a, like say everyone is so different and there's so many unknowns. And I think right now, before we decide what to do, we need to kind of get on the same page to decide. Okay, hey, this is what at least with some certainty, this is what is actually happening, because that will allow us to make better decisions. Without that, it feels you make like long decisions or you're all over the place. But so the first thing I would say to do is like kind of do the sense making, like try talking to more people in the system from, and not just tech people, maybe like economists, right? Like, because there are a lot of economic implications. So maybe talk to a bunch of economists and understand, okay, what they think. And so yeah, I feel right now the best thing would be to not 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 be taken away by what others are telling, hey, do this, do that, but try to make sense of all this mess yourself a bit, and ask questions, figure out, because that is going to help no matter what things will happen next. And how to earn money, I think, yeah, I think that's like a very tough question. Next big exciting thing. There are so many exciting things. I guess it's about AI.
No, I mean, after AI solves, I mean, like AGI comes into the picture. After
Okay.
AGI comes into the picture, then what the next big thing, energy or like human DNA editing or gene editing?
Oh, I don't have. I mean, for me, everything seems so exciting. So I think it depends on
something
how.
you have some experience, right? Like, you have some idea of like what you.
I mean, so it depends on time scale. Like, is it 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? 2 years.
2 years. 1 year.
1 month, dude. 1 month crypto. You should tell. Crypto is the quickest.
1 year, not 2 years. Yeah.
1 year. I mean, it depends on your skills. Like what you have already built.
Yeah.
I don't have skills.
I mean, do you want it legal or illegal?
You don't get record.
Okay, I'll take it later. Next, okay. Would expertise in a field become less valuable? I guess so. Actually, I mean, it depends on the field. First of all, if your field is very like it's like math or coding or STEM in general, I think STEM in general is a very ripe target for AI. So I would bet less. But then again, it's a bit hard. For instance, like graphic designers are also kind of affected. So yeah, I think the way it's gone. I mean, here my take is you can't. I mean, the days of giving your labor to a bigger company will start losing value. So there'll be like a lot of micro entrepreneurs, a group of like just say 4 or 5 people using these bunch of AIs to have like extreme productivity, and they'll be like a micro org, and they'll be giving their services. So that, I mean, obviously expertise in a field will be useful, but then you won't be selling that labor or expertise to a big corp. I mean, you can, but you'll always be playing catch up because it's the water is always rising, right? So I think and also the barrier to start your own thing will start reducing, because you can have uh, right now one of the bottlenecks for starting your own thing is like capital intensive, right? You need to hire so many people, you need to hire like a bunch of things, and if that barrier reduces, let's say earlier you need like a crore or something, maybe now you just need like 50 lakhs or tens of lakhs to start a decent business or venture, and I think that's where things will probably lead. And but again, it depends on the field. Like certain fields will be more resistant, but fields which are seeing a lot of these penetration would this sort of effect might have. Is the creation of TAI transformative AI inherently sufficient to upend, or is it likely majorly constraining by society, bureaucracy? So business as usual. Okay, so my understanding of this question is uh, how big of a bottleneck are these factors? Is anonymous? Okay, is that the right depiction? Yeah. So TA, just to give a context, is it's not okay. We don't care about general or like consciousness and all that fancy stuff. But just look at it like an economist. Hey, can this AI just solve very economically productive tasks? And I think there's some definition where it can be, you can solve like I think 10% of your GDP or some number, but it's just looking absolutely at the economic side of it. And the question is asking how big of a bottleneck will society, bureaucracy, and economy will be. I think it's so dynamic. This hinges on there'll be like a lot of dependencies to it and how those factors matter. For instance, just a year or so ago, there was this thing called there was this AI safety summit, and now they just turned it into an AI action summit because I don't know, like it's so they just, if they wanted, like these powers will change it for their own good, right? And maybe now it seems like a bottleneck, but if let's say there are like national security or people in power, like they can convince like whoever is in power at that time, that administration, they feel they wanna use whatever lever of power to expedite it, they can. But so yeah, again, I mean, this is a area where I don't have expertise. Maybe someone in policy or economics they might, but from my understanding, that's how it seems. Where there are bottlenecks, but it's very dynamic. If the people in power they want to do it, apparently they can change it. So to give a better answer, we need to understand how much leverage do these governments have in these things. Think do we have, how much time do we have? The more questions.
3:30.
Oh, there are more questions.
Full questions.
Can you scroll like no? I think now it's climate and AI. What should be the next steps? I'm not sure. Are you asking the like AI is causing like more greenhouse emissions, or is it how AI will help climate? What is
how it is not currently
climate friendly?
climate friendly?
Okay.
Are we moving to a direction where it's going to be more sustainable?
Okay. I mean,
Power.
see, first of all, I think it's in context, right? Okay, we say AI is doing it, but then look at other things, how much they are consuming, and it's in the calculus. Like let's say, okay, AI is consuming this much, but what if we use it to cure diseases or scientific progress? So it all, I think it's a much more complicated calculus that falls in. It's not just it shouldn't be treated as an expense. It should be okay. We are spending this much, but what are we getting back? Right? Maybe we are spending similar amounts of energy for even trivial things. Like I don't know how much. Let's say,
So, for example, somebody is creating a Ghibli photo on Instagram.
But again,
Instagram.
that's
also
that's there. That's again a market force, right? Like, by that logic, like, yeah, tobacco or like alcohol shouldn't be there.
Itself, why does it
Sorry?
exist? No, I'm saying.
Instagram itself.
Why itself.
Yeah, exactly. So those it'll go into like a more political, like free markets and stuff. But I feel okay, Ghibli is like, let's say 5% or 10% of traffic, but then let's say 20-30% of the traffic goes into medicine or other useful stuff. Then it can.
When we are there, maybe yes. Most of the traffic is being used for a productive or good for people kind of.
But again, that's like, it's a very personal moral thing, right? Like, okay, by the logic, a lot of people will say Instagram or they're just causing so much harm.
Will we reach a saturation point where we're using it a lot, but the amount of energy sources that we have to.
But now they're looking at nuclear. Yeah, AI helps to make efficient sources.
If that's the case,
Yeah, they're working on it.
Just curious to know what I'm working on right now.
So, right?
Right now using GPUs, right? It's not that clear TPUs. That means that it's a lot.
Yeah, they're more energy efficient. Yeah.
So guys, I just want to let you know, lunch is ready now.
Okay.
So this conversation can continue during the lunch. Whoever we have it open. So yeah, a round of applause for Bhishma.
Okay. Yeah. Also, your questions, can you also put it here so that it's tracked? I think we had certain threads, right? Like one was on, I think.